I was hoping we could do this in person because I don't want to look like, you know, it's a U.S. Senate seat, for God's sake.
Yeah, well, I understand that. I'm based in D.C.
Oh, well, I mean, can we get somebody else who's local that I can have a sit-down with? Because it's important to me, and I don't want to look like a schmuck.
I don't think you're going to look like a schmuck.
I know Mike Pignataro, so... Do you know Mike Pignataro?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. He covered up a murder. Yeah, so, and I have the evidence. So the guy, I have distrust at this point with him.
Okay.
Have you heard of Stephen Barrier?
Stephen Barrier. No.
Barrier, no? A kid was...
Barrier?
Yeah, he was tasered to death 15 months ago at 1:30 in the morning. And all the videos... So he was pronounced dead at 3:10, like, what, an hour and a half later? But all the videos from Hearst start at 5:29 a.m. And they have 21 cops in the video. 6 cops killed him at 1:30. I have the video of him being tasered to death, okay? The cops said no tasers were used, okay? Richard Colangelo said no tasers were used. It's right in the video. Taser, taser, taser. The guy's yelling. I got him in the back. 2 cops. 6 cops approached the kid's house. The last 2 guys taser him to death. Straight up. I went to Mike Pignataro, and for weeks he was publishing stories about Stephen Barrier saying no tasers were used, no police misconduct. Now the fact remains, the videos he has start at 5:29 and the sun's coming up. So, hold on a second. There were 6 cops on the scene, not 21.
So,
there's
I'm not familiar with the case that you're talking about. I can assure you that Hearst is not covering up any information that we're available to publish.
Okay. Well,
in terms of a sit-down interview, we're not doing many of those at this time due to COVID and keeping our personnel safe. So, any congressional candidates who are interviewed...
Yeah, I just tested negative. I'm safe.
Okay. But I'd like to talk to you about your candidacy this morning.
Cool.
And we're going to run through some questions about your bio and your background.
Sure. Great.
Then I'll ask you about your policy plans, and then we'll talk campaign strategy.
Cool.
And we should be able to wrap up in about 30 minutes. Are you comfortable with me recording this conversation for the purpose of quoting you accurately?
No doubt, but I'm going to hold you to it.
Okay, sounds good. So, John, clarify for me first. First, do you want to be John or Johnny in this announcement?
Well, my dad's John and my son's John, so I'm used to Johnny, but it doesn't matter.
Well, what is the name that you're going to be using in your official?
Oh, I'm going to use John J. Flynn,
John Flynn. Okay.
Yeah. I'm the 8th. My son's the 9th.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, 8th generation. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And clarify for me, do you live in Stamford or South Norwalk?
I live in Norwalk.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And how old are you?
I'm 57.
Okay. What's your current employment?
I do a whole bunch of things.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a carpenter, plumber, electrician. I was buying houses, fix them up and flip them. Those loans are no longer available. Right now I'm take care of my dad at night, who's 85. He was the chairman of the Conservative Party back in New York, and he was like a pretty famous guy. He was the World Trade Center bombing engineer. He has like 180 buildings on Park Avenue that he is the engineer for, including the Catholic Church, the George Washington Bridge, the Brooklyn Bridge, lots of stuff. So I help him. I've been helping him for 20 years, but I owned a brokerage firm for a long time called Greenwich Global LP. I was a convertible bond trader, an arbitrage trader, and then I became a biotechnology analyst, and I owned my own firm. So I do a lot of trading, And, but I usually do one construction thing a day. In other words, I have clients from my employer that, like I put windows in, I do, I do all kinds of things, plumbing. I have an engineering background. My dad's an engineer. My sister's an engineer. So it's complicated.
Okay. Okay.
I just did 7 or 8 closets in a house in Rowayton, where the lady who just ran for mayor used to live. She just sold it, and the new owners are renovating it. It's a beautiful house. I mean, it has a widow's walk with a solarium. It has the master bedroom. It's like unbelievable. Sauna, hot tub, everything. The place is phenomenal. It's right near the library in Rowayton.
Sounds beautiful.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Local homes?
I have like word of mouth stuff. So I have like 7 clients on one street in Darien. They keep me busy. Like, I can go there anytime. But I have clients in Pound Ridge, where I'm originally from, that anytime I'm free, I can go to. So I have my schedules fairly full. I've been driving around. I'm going to New Haven tomorrow. I have clients as far as New Haven. I have clients as far as upstate New York and like Rhode Island, places like that. So if they give me enough time to get around to fixing their stuff, then I get around to fixing it. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. And you grew up in Pound Ridge?
Yeah. It's a wonderful place. No one locks their door. It's actually, it's phenomenal.
It sounds pretty up there.
Yeah, it's only 9 miles from Stanford, so I went to high school at Trinity Catholic, which recently closed.
Okay.
My grammar school recently closed too. St. Patrick's in Bedford, New York. So all the private Catholic schools around here are closing.
Yeah, some of them are.
Yeah.
And have you ever run for public office before?
I've run whenever I'm asked. I've been asked, I think, 3 times, other than this. I ran for president of the United States in 2020. And I had 21% of the vote in the March poll. But it's the subject of a lawsuit now, because if you look at the Connecticut voting, I believe it was hacked by the same system that hacked the other states. Did you see the Mike Lindell video?
Yes.
Okay.
I have not seen the whole thing, but I've watched clips.
Oh, well, 21 people took a picture of their ballot that voted for me. Okay? And I guess, as a write-in. I only joined the presidential election because I wanted to get involved in a debate tournament that was nationwide. There's a debate company that hosted a debate for presidential candidates. It had 1,137 invitations, of which, of the 70 finalists, I was ranked first, and I ended up winning. But nobody knows about it. It's enormous. It's called debatetourney.com. So when everyone thinks there's only 2 candidates running, or there's 12 Democrats and 1 Republican, there were 450 independents that ran for president. There were 280 Democrats that ran for president. There were 165 Republicans that ran for president. Over 50 parties had their own candidate. Over 50 parties had their own candidate. And, America doesn't know there were 1,137 candidates. And some of the best ones, in my opinion, I debated. So it's hard to believe we're at this situation. And if I can prove I had 21 votes, which I can, then why is the state of Connecticut saying I had 0? There's 13 Connecticut residents ran for president of the United States. 13. Do you think Dennis Diaz in Waterbury didn't vote for himself? Have you talked to that guy? Oh my God. He definitely he voted for himself. Like, you think my son didn't vote for me, or my father? they know that Trump couldn't win in Connecticut. Why wouldn't they vote for, why? And by the way, I was, knocking doors, right? A little, because of COVID, you really can't, but like in my travels, I'd say, did you know this? Did you know that to people? And they'd say, no, I didn't know. And there's so many facts about the Connecticut elections that people don't know. It's alarming. And you can call the state 1,000 times. They'll give you no answers. I've sent Denise Merrill probably 200 emails in the last year and no response. So if I went to the New Hampshire primary, I was the only person from Connecticut there, okay? I hung out with Tulsi Gabbard people. They were the coolest people. She wasn't allowed to debate, and neither was I, okay, at the New Hampshire primary. But if you talk to the people that made that circuit, they weren't allowed to use their name. They weren't allowed to put signs up. I mean, it was voter suppression because the powers that be have decided that they're going to suppress votes, period. Voter suppression is alive and well. By evidence, nobody knows who Dennis Diaz is except me. Okay, he ran for president of the United States. He was charismatic, right? Spanish guy, Waterbury, and there's no way he didn't get a single vote. But that's what Connecticut says.
As you point out, it's tough with so many candidates running when many of them don't have enough support or raise enough money to make, federal debate stages.
Right. Well, here we go. In elections I've been in the past, right? It's like in 2018, I ran for state rep of the 140, right? I got the signatures, right? I got the money. I raised the 5,100, and I've never been funded. However, Connecticut funded Colin Hostin, a Democrat, right? Who's from Trinidad. He's not even a citizen, okay? I ran against a guy from Trinidad, and I didn't get funded, and he did.
He is a citizen. I've spoken to him about that directly.
No. Now he is. Yeah, now he is.
Yeah, and he...
Excuse me, Travis Sims, who I ran against also at the same time, he told me that, and numerous Democrats confirmed that he was not a citizen at the time. Okay? So whatever you were told, I know him. I like him. I actually endorsed Colin Hostin over Travis Sims because of Travis Sims's record. Do you know what Travis Sims has done recently?
Well, let's talk about your campaign, though, because
sure.
That's what I've...
Okay. Go ahead. Go crazy.
Well, I don't want to talk about allegations about other people. I'd rather hear about you, because that's the purpose of this conversation, is to talk about you and your campaign. Right?
Wonderful. Yep.
So you ran for president. Tell me how widely you campaigned. Did you go to other states and knock doors? How widespread was your campaign?
Oh, no, I had the debate tournament that I was telling you about.
Yep.
It has 23 networks. Digital, television, phone, app voting. In other words, they think in the future that their phone system has facial recognition. Do you understand? So that you couldn't vote. Plus, they'd have your telephone number and your background from, Verizon or whatever to prove your identity. Okay? So I've been working with these people. They're absolutely brilliant. One worked for Perot, and the other one worked for Clinton. One claims he put Clinton on the map. Nobody knew who Clinton was before he got involved. So what I did was just kind of leave it in their hands. And I worked, so I registered to run in the presidential election, fine. And then Norwalk asked me to run for the 140 again, okay? And I was uncomfortable knocking doors, okay, honestly. And they asked me so late that I missed the window to raise the money, right? So I just started mailing letters to various entities about a year ago. And now I'm writing 1,500 letters a month nationally, not in Connecticut, though. In other words, it's so impossible to raise money in Connecticut right now that I'm writing, like for example, if I'm running against Richard Blumenthal right now for a U.S. Senate seat, I just mailed a letter to everyone in Georgia that's a Republican, okay, that supported Loeffler, right? You understand?
Mm-hmm.
And the other guy. Because I figure there's lists and lists of people. I mean, a lot of people gave over $500 to the Georgia race. They raised $500 million between, I think the Democrats had raised $300 million and the Republicans raised like $180 million. I could be wrong, okay? That's how it was tracking. So if they spent $500 million on that race, what's the Connecticut race going to be worth? And if you look at the voter lists, I have all Trump's campaign donors, right? I've been writing to everyone that sent him over $1,000. I've only been able to do 4 letters, A, B, C, and D. There's so many people. If you write 1,500 letters a month, you'll never get to Z. The fact remains, they're all saying we need, it's so far away from the election, we want to wait. Hey, wait till you get the Republican endorsement. Wait. Well, look at where the Republicans are right now with J.R. Romano resigning, right? And Rebecca. I don't want to say that nobody's home because Sue Hatfield's outstanding. But, keep in mind, I think she has a full-time job in addition to running, as interim chairman of the Republican Party in the state of Connecticut. You understand?
Why are you running as a Republican instead of an independent?
I'm running against Richard Blumenthal. I can't get the Republican endorsement yet, and I can't get the independent endorsement yet. So that's where I'm at. You have to wait. There's a process. I'm involved in the Norwalk RTC. There's about 70 members.
I know you haven't been endorsed by the Republican Party as their candidate yet, but
right.
You selected Republican as the party under which you're running. That you're going to.
Oh, that's how I filled out the forms. Yes.
Yeah. So I'm saying, if you ran?
Well, I know there's already one other Republican running against me, Robert Hyde. Do you know who he is? He's very controversial. He's a super patriot. Mm-hmm. And we are working together, so we are on the same page. We're going to help each other. We don't care.
How are you working together?
He's got his own strategy, which I'm well aware of, and I have mine, and they're completely different. But, like, for example, he has agreed to go to debateattorney.com where I am. If you go to that website, debateattorney.com, you'll see I'm the only senatorial candidate that's registered. Mm-hmm. He's joining. There's others. There's at least 6 more. We just spoke to Rayla Campbell. Do you know who that is?
No, who's
okay.
that?
She's running against squad member Presley in Boston. She's a Republican, okay? She was assaulted at the Capitol riot. I say riot. It's really patriots, I believe, that are standing up for their right, feeling that the election was robbed. And I've seen the data, folks. That election was robbed. At least 6 states are in question, and 2 of them Arizona's a slam dunk. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania's a slam dunk. Mm-hmm. That's my opinion.
Did you go to the Capitol riot?
No. I wouldn't. She did, with her children in a stroller, and she got assaulted. I have the video of her assault. It's absolutely insane. Now, this is a young lady with 2 kids walking a carriage across from the Capitol. Do you know where St. John's Church is?
Oh, yep.
Okay, right in front of that, assaulted by numerous people, and then people came to her defense. It's remarkable that people would do this to a woman pushing a carriage. Do you understand? I mean, you draw the line. You got to draw the line at hello.
And what about the people who chose to fight with police, break into the Capitol building?
Well, did you see the footage of the woman shot who was the veteran?
I did. Yeah, I've seen it.
I mean, you know what?
From that day.
You can't condone any violence. Period. 0. Right? But if you look at the data, okay, Trump's supporters should have stayed outside. There's no way. It's totally unacceptable behavior. Look at the kid from Ridgefield, okay? I've reached out to them. Did you talk to them? The 23-year-old from Ridgefield who was arrested?
I have not personally interviewed him. Other folks on my team have reached out.
Right. Well, everyone I've spoken to says he's the nicest kid with, honor student, never made a peep. Oh, that quiet kid, And if you read the tabloids, right, they say, oh, anarchist, all these things that, is not journalism. I mean, that's not journalism. I'm sorry. That you can find someone who said that? I mean, look at what the FBI has been doing. Have you been following what the FBI in Connecticut's doing? Oh, my God. Not a single article is written about it. Comey ran the FBI in Connecticut, right?
I saw that you wrote that in your email.
Well, hold on a second. I was involved in the East Haven undercover sting operation. They never indicted Gallo. They never indicted Larrabee. Should be in jail. Do you know who that is, Larrabee? No, because the newspapers don't print it. Do you know who Nappy is? He should be in jail. The East Haven Police Department testified they were trained to falsify police reports. Did you know that? To justify false arrest. Did you know that? Do you know they use a hitman? They have the same guy. They used him 3 times. I know his name. I met him. I was confronted by him.
Mm-hmm.
It's not cool. This was years ago, like in 2010. 10 years ago.
Why don't you talk to me about your platform here? What are the policy areas that you would want to address as senator? I see our time is winding down here. So.
I'm all over. I'm all over judicial misconduct like you can't believe. Prosecutorial misconduct is Connecticut's biggest problem. Do you know there's 6 vacancies in the prosecutor's office in Bridgeport right now? 6. And Kelly just resigned. That's shocking. He was the only good one they had. And he retired.
Yeah. How would you address that through federal law and U.S. policy?
Cases. I'm involved in a lot of lawsuits. Did I tell you I'm the largest pro se litigator in Connecticut?
Oh, no, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Well, if you research one of my cases, any one of them, they're all about money laundering, check fraud, wire fraud, Bank America fraud. I have 200 cases against Bank America. You know they're Jim Himes' primary donor, right? And that he has oversight of the FBI, NSA, oversight of SEC, FINRA, NASDAQ. Are you aware of that? Oversight on the Intelligence Committee of spying on Americans and sitting next to Schiff, who's a criminal. It's unbelievable that Jim Himes took a bribe from OxyContin. Hello. Jim Himes. Tell me why. His office is next to Oxy and they won't refer it to Richard Colangelo for criminal prosecution. I'll tell you why. I know why. Maybe it's not for this conversation, but I am suing Richard Colangelo right now for taking a bribe on Labor Day of $1.5 million in cash. You can look it up. FST CV 20 502 3122-S on jud.ct.gov. Look it up. It's a Stanford case. It's the Stephen Barrier case, which I was telling you about, that Pignataro knows about.
So, any other policy areas that you want to address?
I have an enormous platform. I have over 270 YouTube videos that are a half an hour each on my platform. 270 is a lot.
Yeah, so give me your elevator pitch of the top issues that you're going to work on, because I only have until about 10:30 here. So
quick elevator pitch.
Yeah, you're going to have to do this as a candidate. You're going to have to tell people what right away.
Well, I have questions no one has ever answered, and I think, like the question I had this morning, just not to get off topic, but if the FBI knows about Pizzagate, why didn't they investigate? Is that true about human trafficking with children and who bought them? It's all out there on the table on the internet. If you look at I just did 4 posts on human trafficking in Connecticut, right? 4. Do you know from 2006 to 2016 they had 400 arrests of traffickers and no prosecutions? Did you know there's 0? 400. Now here we go. There's interviews, right, on Quinnipiac's law site, on the law, Quinnipiac. They have a legal law school. They have a website. They have interviews of women that were trafficked. Like, so here we go. They have one named Teresa.
So,
Did you watch it?
hey, John, can we get back to the subject of your campaign? This is going
Yeah.
a little far.
My campaign is all about injustice.
Okay, got it. That's okay.
One word. And no one's going to fix Connecticut because judicial misconduct is absolutely out of control. I can highlight cases, okay, where the governor was sued, the judge was appointed by the governor, okay, no subpoenas were issued, no witnesses were allowed, no depositions were allowed, no cross-examination was allowed, no evidence was entered into the docket. I mean, you understand? This is a case against Malloy.
Yeah.
Okay, there's hundreds of them.
Okay.
So I'm taking a different approach.
Yeah.
Have you noticed?
You're making a lot of allegations here, and I just wanted to
Right.
let you know, I'm most interested in learning about you.
Okay.
Not what's been happening.
I'm Catholic. I have 4 sisters.
Uh-huh.
I have 2 sons. They're smart. Ryan just got a 1440 on his SAT. Thank you, Ryan. JJ got a job at GM. He ran the Villanova Formula One race car team with a bunch of guys, and they designed a bunch of cars, and they went to international competition. Villanova came in first place 2 years ago. Last year they came in second place. They competed against Japan, Germany, all these different places, okay? And those countries gave them car parts, like German car manufacturers gave them an engine block. Villanova made theirs out of a piece of aluminum, okay? So to even finish the race and win against these other people who, obviously Villanova has 20 people on their team. Some of these teams have 250 people.
John,
Yep.
let's get back to you again. Here.
Okay, back to me. I'm involved. I'm totally tuned in. I'm driving around the state.
Oh wow, you have a lot of opinions. So I just because I only have 2 more minutes here before I have.
Well, you want to talk about my competition or not?
What I want to ask you is, Connecticut has not had a Republican senator since 1989.
Right.
So why do you think you'll be the person to be elected in 2022?
Well, I think they should all be in handcuffs.
Who?
Jim Himes, Richard Blumenthal. Should I go on and on and on? I can give you a list of 100 names. I mean, I think the bribery in this state is unbelievable. Here we go. If the DNC, right, took $112 million from Oxy so they wouldn't be criminally prosecuted, hello, Tong is involved. By the way, I accused Tong of sending a bribe on Labor Day of $30 million of taxpayer money, okay, to the NAACP in Stamford, who gave $1.5 million to our chief state's attorney in writing, okay? So here we go. Does he have to go to jail? Well, he probably doesn't know that the NAACP broke the money up and gave it to our chief state's attorney. No. He probably doesn't know about the money laundering cases I filed against our chief state's attorney. I don't think he knows. Okay, well, if I'm willing to go out there on a limb and say, listen to this, if 6 cops tasered a kid to death 14 months ago, and I've seen taser evidence, they say their tasers weren't used, and I say, hold on a second, Richard Colangelo, our chief state's attorney, investigated 70 murders or police actions where there were possible excessive force, right? Or wrongful death cases. 70, okay? 69 out of 70, he said, were justified uses of force. You understand? Only one he thought didn't have justified useful force. However, that one went to court and the judge overturned it and ruled there was justified useful force. So here we go. Kids murdered on their 23rd birthday that work at Boston Market, come home, get jumped in the driveway, tasered to death, no medical. This is worse than George Floyd. This is worse than Breonna Taylor. This is worse than Trayvon Martin. This is worse than any case you can think of. If that kid was tased in the temples, in the back of the head, and under the chin, don't you think? Why would you use a taser not in the fatty tissue? And then, right, send 21 cops back to the scene 4 hours later, stage the running scene with an actor playing the role of the boy that already died. Can you explain that to me?
So these are really colorful allegations that you're making.
Oh, well, they are, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
Well, guess what? If you want to run in Connecticut for U.S. Senate and take them out to the shed, that's my goal.
What's your goal? Take them out to the shed? What do you mean?
Legally.
Legally. So you want to bring cases against them in court?
I've already, I'm suing Blumenthal for 5G. Straight up. What did he do? Do you know what he did?
I'm going to check out your cases, but John, I have to jump in here because I do have a call that starts at 10:35, so I'm going to have to leave it here.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Listen. Don't do a hatchet job on me. I'm telling you right now.
Well, thank you so much.
Okay, I appreciate it. I'd rather do this in person, truthfully, because
I understand. But
do you know the reputation of the media, right?
Oh yes.
Okay, well, don't further it.
Okay, John. It's been a pleasure speaking with you.
You're the best. By the way, I've heard wonderful things about you. And the reason why I told you about Christina Hennessy is because she was my fiance.
Oh, I see.
But she's big-time Democrat. I might add, all my volunteers, 9 of them, are Democrats. All 9. Not a single Republican has volunteered for me.
Wow. Well, John, I gotta run. But thank you so much. We're
Cool.
reaching out, interviewing, setting up.
Yeah, I hope to hear from you again. And honestly, I think there's newsworthy stories that no one is covering. And I'd be shocked if you heard the Tong conversations I've had, why they're not in the newspaper if he's Attorney General. What do you think?
I'm not sure what you're specifically referring to, but I would love
Like
to
Denise Merrill. Hello.
Yeah.
13 people ran for president in Connecticut, and they show 0 votes. There's no way they didn't vote for themselves.
Yeah. Hey, John, as I said, I do have to run to another call. I sincerely apologize for cutting this conversation short.
No worries. I could go on for hours.
I know how to reach you, and I'll...
Okay. Well, I hope you do, because we have cocktails every Sunday afternoon, Surf and Turf at 6:30. Everyone's welcome.
Oh, that's lovely. Okay.
Okay.
Well, thanks so much, and I hope you take good care, okay?
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Have a good
You
day.
come highly recommended.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, bye.